Today we've got something that Mum has never tried before, and that is Karaage, which is what, Mum?
What is that? It's called, in Western world, it's called teriyaki.
No,
is it?
no, it's not. We're making a teriyaki sauce, but the main thing is it's just basically Japanese fried chicken.
Oh, okay. What is it called?
Karaage.
Karaage.
Yeah.
Karaage.
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 I'm probably saying it wrong, so I apologise for that. And this was inspired by my trip to Japan, where I was in Hagadashi and Tokyo, filming for a documentary on MSG. So that will be out very end of this year or early next year. So keep your eyes out for that. Anyway, back to the recipe. So we've got chicken thigh here. Over there in Japan, it's pretty much all they use because chicken thigh is elite, isn't that right, Mum?
Yes, yes, it is, definitely.
I had this quite often out there, and it was always chicken thigh. Obviously, you can use breast if you want.
I think when you use breast meat, it tends to be a bit dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's up to you, entirely up to you, whatever cut of meat you like.
Yeah, it's what you like at the end of the day.
You can use pork.
Because karaage literally just means battered meat, like deep fried in.
Oh yeah.
Actually, it doesn't mean that, it just means fried meat, so it could be in a batter or out of a batter.
Black pepper. I'm really looking forward for this.
Yeah.
White pepper, not to forget.
Yeah, not too much. Little goes a long way with white pepper.
Salt. MSG hashtag.
That is everywhere in Japan. It's literally pretty much in every restaurant you go to. There's either a bottle of MSG or there's a blue lid bottle, which is actually salt and MSG mixed together.
Yeah, it's on the table, free to use.
Yeah, exactly.
Not like here, you've got to, not allowed to be seen to buy one packet.
Freshly minced ginger.
Yeah. Garlic.
Minced again.
Minced. Freshly
Fresh.
minced.
You don't want the stuff in the jars. You can use it, but it's got way less flavour in there.
Some light soil.
Fair bit.
And we had some rice wine.
Yeah, but you can use sake or mirin if you want. And just a touch of sesame oil.
Potato starch.
And that goes. And then we're just going to mix this up. You want this to sit in the fridge for at least 20 minutes. So while we do this, we'll make our teriyaki sauce.
I could actually smell the aroma now.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, and once it's cooked, oh my God.
You don't know, you haven't tried it yet.
I can see from it though, because it's 5 minutes first of all.
Yeah.
Not to forget, that's my favorite cut.
Yeah, it is your favourite cut.
That's say no more.
That does say no more, right?
Yeah.
Right, and today we're actually doing like the newer version of karaage, which is a thicker, almost American fried chicken style batter. Traditionally, it's actually quite thin, like a dusting.
Years ago when I was younger.
You've never had karaage?
No, not karaage. Our style, our Chinese style.
Oh, right, okay.
Chicken is really thinly coated with a slight butter. You call it butter or what?
So you can keep talking. So I
Yes,
just want to
it's
get
modern time now. When I go back this day, the butter seems to be thicker.
But we're doing the modern one because it just looks nicer. And it's...
Yes, it is. Yeah, like everybody knows now. You know, not unless you are 65 or 70.
You're 65, Mum.
Whoosh!
So on to the next stage. We're going to let this rest in the fridge overnight for best results.
I got to have a drink.
Yeah, I can tell. It's gone to your head straight away.
So you can start driving now then.
Well, I can start driving right now. We're in the middle of a video. Mum's had a little bit of a drink, as you might be able to tell. We're now going to make our teriyaki sauce. Now this is...
Is it teriyaki?
Yeah, it's teriyaki.
Okay.
Now this is just our version. It's not based on anything in particular other than the flavours I tasted when I was out there. I mean, I have been given a teriyaki recipe by Japanese chefs, but I wanted to give my own take because it was different everywhere you go.
Yes.
And it was just... Anyway.
It's just like gravy, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
When you come to think about it, gravy is all different. Like Yorkshire pudding is all different. Yes.
Yeah, you
I might run now. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, carry on then.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what is that?
So
what sauce is it?
We've got some light soy sauce, Japanese light soy sauce actually. It's got less soy and it's got less salt in it.
More of the beans.
Yeah,
isn't
way
it?
more of the beans. Then we've got some dark soy here.
Dark soil.
That's just for the colour, really.
Yeah. And is that water
Yeah,
or rice wine or what?
No, this is water.
Oh, water, yeah. They all look the same. It's all liquid, isn't it?
Yeah.
At the end of the day. Not unless they are red wine or rosé or white wine, so you can tell the difference of the colour. It's not a educational thing, all right? It's just a cooking.
How much have you drunk? Like a pint of vodka? Anyway,
This is flip.
Freshly.
I don't get this opportunity to drink at lunchtime, okay? So I'm
it's lunchtime,
making
people.
use of it.
It's lunchtime. We've got some freshly grated ginger going straight in.
Yeah, it's definitely ginger. I could see it. Garlic as well.
Yeah, freshly minced garlic again.
It's all so fresh, the ingredient, honestly. Oh my God.
We've got some
Muscovado
sugar.
Yeah.
Casper, the friendly ghost. We've got a honey.
Some honey, yes. Oh, honey always make the flavor, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm making mine extremely sweet. It's normally not this sweet, but I think it's nicer when it's a bit more sweet.
But that is entirely up to you, okay? If you want it sour, you can have it.
Yeah, 100%.
So put less honey or less sugar.
Yeah. Got some orange peel here.
Yes, because orange peel would be better with slightly sweet because orange is quite on a sour side, isn't it?
Yep. We got some rice wine vinegar.
That's it. It looked like the rice wine.
Not rice wine vinegar, rice vinegar, sorry. And some mirin.
Mirin? What's mirin?
It's alcohol.
Oh, okay. Oh my God, it smells nice.
And now we're going to bring this to a boil.
It's not even cooked. You could see all the ingredients floating and it's already tastes amazing.
You haven't tried it?
I know. I can tell from the ingredients that go in.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't really have to cook it. You can see what the ingredients are. You can picture it in your brain there.
Well,
in your head, in your brain.
I agree. As chefs, you can, and as many of you at home could probably too.
Yes. Put your opinion in our comments block.
Be nice with anything deep fried.
Yeah.
So you can taste it.
A touch of that orange peel. It'd be nice with the olive.
Yeah.
I mean, with the duck.
Yeah.
Not too much though. I think the French orange duck is too much of the orange peel.
Okay, so now this is boiling. We're going to put it down to simmer. So a medium heat.
To get the water, liquid, not water. That's a term of it.
We're trying to get the aromatics out of the...
Yeah.
And cook off the garlic especially so it doesn't taste raw. But we're going to have this just boiling for about 6 minutes.
Yes.
Sorry, simmering for about 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Not boiling.
So it will reduce the liquid and then it become a thicker sauce as well at the same time.
We're using this.
Oh, yeah? I mean, slightly more... You know what I mean? When you've been cooking along.
Maybe you shouldn't drink next time. So we're going to try this now. Yeah.
It's really good. You could taste the hit of the ginger and a bit garlic and the orange.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then I'm just going to thicken this up with potato starch slurry.
This sauce will go really nice with poached. Not a lot of you out there. Like poached duck.
We'll do a video on that one day. It's like really traditional Chinese cooking.
You guys out there like to see it, just comments.
Yeah. It's normally served with pickled pineapple. Okay, that's thick enough. I'm just going to take that off the heat. You can have it as thick or as thin as you want this. We've got some veg oil on the hob to heat up because we're going to deep fry this in around 180 degrees C, so about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. First of all, we need to make the batter though. So we've got some plain flour here, and then we've got some potato starch. A touch of salt.
MSG. White pepper. Black pepper.
Yeah. Now we're just going to mix this well together. You want a lot of flour to really sort of batter this. Now there are obviously a couple of ways to do this. You can dredge the chicken a couple of times so you get an extra thick batter, but we're just going to show you a quick way that I do this at home because we're not doing a restaurant standard. We just want to do a quick version for you guys so it's easier.
There are many ways of doing it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I think maybe one day we should show the butter, any kind of way to butter.
Yeah, we'll do, maybe for a technique video, we'll go through different kinds of batter. Okay, so that's that done. Then we're going to bring our chicken back. I'm going to add some water to this. Fair amount. Then we're going to take some of our mix and throw it into the chicken. And we're just going to add a little bit at a time because you want to sort of create a paste around the outside of the chicken. You don't want it too thick either, because if it's too thick, you don't get like nice little
crispy knobs, isn't it? Not crispy.
Nope, nope.
Yeah, crispy knobby bit.
See, now we could afford a little bit more water to get a bit more of that paste onto the chicken. Again, with this flour. This does take a lot of practice, but hopefully you can see by what I'm doing how much you want it, how much practice, not how much practice, but the thickness you want. Okay, oh, so that's good enough. We're just going to put our chicken...
Bring them back in there.
Yeah, throw it in. Now these chunks, I forgot to mention earlier on, about 3 to 4 centimeters cubed, but you can have any size you want. So I've just washed my hands to get rid of any excess batter on my fingers because that will want to stick to the fingers instead of the chicken. We're just going to move this around like this until they're practically coated, and then I'm going to go in with my hand. You can see those like kind of knots appearing. Mum called them knobs, but I call them knots.
Yeah.
Someone else is probably going to say that's not what they're called, but
you tell us.
You would tell us, yeah.
Please.
Because we actually don't know. I'm just making words up. And you just do that gently because you don't want to knock them too much until it's all done. Now, this is where you can double sort of dredge them. Put them back into the bowl you used. Add more water to that and then do this process again. And then you'll get lots and lots. But I think that's overkill.
Lots of, butter mix on it.
Yeah. So now the temperature's up to normal. Up to temperature. I'm going to place the chicken into the hot fat. And as always, when you're using hot fat, you place it in and away from yourself. When you're deep frying these, you want to make sure there's enough oil for them to sort of float above the surface of the bottom, especially if you're using like a high power.
Equipment.
Yeah, because they will burn otherwise. See, look at that lovely texturing on the outside.
Like flecky, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
now the meat's over 80 degrees C internally, you definitely know it's done then. Obviously there are different temperatures, but the point of us showing you is to stay safe, so we tell you the absolute safest temperature, so that's 80 degrees C. We're just going to take these out, then we're going to let them sit for about 10 minutes and then second fry them. So the whole point of the second frying is actually to make sure it's extra crispy, because you take it out, let it sit, and that sitting actually allows a lot of those water vapours to come out of the batter. And then obviously the second frying process locks in the
moisture and make it extra crispy.
No, it doesn't lock in the moisture. It locks in the crunchy texture. Moisture is not your friend when it comes to crispy batter.
I mean the juice of the chicken, isn't it?
Yeah. Before we do the second fry, we're just taking out a lot of this
residue, the one left behind.
Because it will burn. The cooker is actually off right now. I'll link something like this in the description. Plus, actually, the wok that we're using today is linked in the link tree below. That there's how much flour is, unneeded. And that's what KFC uses for their gravy.
Yummy.
Okay, so back onto a high heat, and we're just going to cook these off again until they're crispy. So this is all nice and brown now, and it's extra crispy. We're just going to take this out.
Can you hear that noise?
It just sounds like thuds of crispiness.
Clang.
So a good tip to keep your batter crispy is when you dish it out, don't let it stack on top of each other because they'll condensate on each other underneath. This is a bit too close, if I'm honest. We could have had a bigger tray, but we didn't, and that's my fault. Every time I had it, it always came with loads of lettuce. Either loads of lettuce or just on a plate. I'm just going to dish this out. I can't wait for Mum to try this.
Butter and the crispiness.
Yeah. You're excited, aren't you?
Yes.
You can see Mum's face. Garnish it with the teriyaki sauce.
Oh, look at that.
Then obviously you're going to have the obligatory Kewpie mayonnaise.
And some sesame seed.
And lemon. This really makes a massive difference. You just quite literally squeeze it on. Obviously, what are you going to do with it otherwise? And there we have it. Right. Mum, you go first.
Okay. I never tried this mayonnaise before.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of mayonnaise normally.
Got a bit of a sourness. A bit different from normal mayonnaise.
Yeah, it's richer.
You can taste the best flavour of every continent.
Of every continent? have some with some, just get some Karaage on its own, with no sauce on, and have it with some lemon. And honestly, sauce.
So crunchy.
Yeah, it was massively crunchy.
Yeah.
Lemon. Now try it, man.
Yeah. I can see why they have the lemon on it.
Yeah. It makes it like chicken scampi.
Yeah. Zesty. And nut butter is really incredible crispy.
Like I said, sauce is good as well.
Yeah.
So that was Mum's first ever time trying this dish.
Karaage. Is it Karaage?
I can't-
Karaage.
Karaage, yeah. Karaage.
Karaage.
Correct my pronunciation, please. Fully apologise. But whatever, or however you say it, it's bloody delicious. While Mum's enjoying her karaage. Maybe if you want to learn how to cook like a Chinese takeaway chef at home, you might want to think about buying our first cookbook. Second one is currently sold out. If you want to know where to get this, comment below. We do also have an app as well, which has like meal planning in and things like that. So if you want to know where to get that, just comment below. Do you know what this needs, in my opinion?
Chili.
Yeah, chili. I'm going to put some sriracha on it.
That's because we like chili, you know? You don't have to put that on if you don't like it.
Try it now.
Yeah.
You can use your hands. Oh. Yeah. Don't know why I'm acting like I'm surprised I had it with sriracha in Japan.
If you're chili lovers out there, put a touch of that chili sauce on it. It's nice without it, and it's good with it.
If you like what you saw today, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Commenting what you want to see helps us loads, because sometimes we sit there and think we don't know what to do, and a lot of the time people don't comment what they want to see. If you comment what you want to see, there's a high likelihood that it's going to get done.
It not just help us, it helped you as well.
Yeah.
It's just not about us, it's about you.
Yeah.
Happy cooking, happy eating.
Bye.
Till next time, stay in tune.
Thank you. You done?
Yes.
You
Bye.
you can tell the alcohol's worn off a bit now. Bye.